5 tools that are absolutely indispensable to a new gardener, ones you absolutely need to have to be successful. That is a question that was asked by Dee Dewitt, and that is the answer we're going to work on here today. Now, this is based off of 15 years of working in large production scale, a background in soil and plant science, and also gardening since I was about 5 years old. And I also took into consideration Geek Crew members' years of comments, Instagram, TikTok, and here on YouTube, and what they say is indispensable to them. So this is not just my reality. This is the reality of a large group of us here on the Gardening Canada channel. And if you did not know, if you hit the subscribe button, you're part of the Geek Crew. You leave a question in a comment. I read all of them. I answer a lot of them, and several of them make it into video ideas. And I decided now I'm going to start taking your guys' comments and putting them onto the screen because I want you to see which comments specifically I'm using to make my videos from, because that's all I use is your guys' comments to make videos. I don't use AI. I don't use my own creativity, which there is none of. It's completely you guys. It's driven by you. So I thank you for that. You keeping me employed. Okay, so here's the thing. I think I can say with absolute confidence that beginner gardeners and gardeners in general are completely exploited, and just sold a load of crap about what they need. And they don't need more tools equal more complexity, more cost, worse gardening habits, actually, and just complete confusion. Most gardening failures don't come from missing the wrong tool. They come from improper timing, maybe not fully understanding a concept in soil and plant science, which is where this channel comes in. Hit that subscribe button, or simply luck of the draw. We're talking about Mother Nature here. You can't control her, just like you can't control most women, if we're being totally honest, particularly the redheaded freckled ones that write with their left hand. You can't control Mother Nature. So it's just, you're going to have bad years, and that's reality. There's no tool that's going to fix that. So let's talk about tool number 1, a shovel or a spade. We're talking about essentials all night. So this is obviously for digging, moving soil, edging lawns, removing weeds. And the reality is that it allows for soil disturbance that is more precise and to whatever depth you want, compared to all these other fancy tools, weeding tools, edging tools, whatever they are. So there's there's 3 types of kind of shovel spades that you could go with. Flat spade. These are kind of like grain shovels, if you will. It's completely flat and square at the end. These are for shoveling, clean cut, edging, that sort of thing. Wherever you need like a very blunt thing, you're not digging down with these, by the way. It is more for this motion than this motion. So if you're moving dirt in a wheelbarrow, that is your best option, is the flat. You can use a round still, but the flat is the better option. I would say this is probably the least useful of the 3 versions you could go with, but it's still a version that if you have it, that's what it's meant for. Next one is round shovel. So this is meant for digging. This is for moving stuff. This is for getting deep, if you will. This is for clay. This is for sand. This is for compost. This is the one you want to go with. You can get completely rounded. You can get slightly sharpened, but rounded. You can get ones that have like a serrated side on it. You can get sides that have like a little bit of a sharper side on it. I actually, conveniently enough, convinced my father-in-law to kind of sharpen, literally physically sharpen kind of that softer edge, which is great for weeding because it's like a little knife. Be careful. Use that one with caution. It usually has like a lip on it where you can stand on it and push it in. That is the one you want to go with. That is probably the most versatile in the event that you are doing, this is the key here, in-ground beds or just in-ground in general. Only in-ground, not raised beds, not containers. Very important. If we are doing containers, if we are doing raised beds, if we're doing small sections, I would actually heavily encourage you to go with the Hori knife, is what it is called. This is actually something that soil scientists use religiously. The reason for it is because it actually allows us to dig a soil profile. It has a measurement on it. It's a physical ruler. It's a serrated edge, and it also has that knife edge, and they are both very sharp. FYI. This allows us to clean off the surface and look at the soil profiles, the root, all of that sort of fun stuff. Now, that's not obviously something that you need if you're just a regular human being, not a massive soil nerd, but it does work fan-freaking-tastically for raised beds and containers, along with in ground if you need to cut through roots and like tree roots and shrub roots or grass or anything like that. This sucker is a weapon and you cannot go wrong with this thing. It is way better than a hand trowel or anything like that. It's probably a little bit more. It is a little bit more, I would say. But if you have a Hori knife, you have a Hori knife for the rest of your life. Unless you misplace it like I do. Place mine like once a year, twice a year. Sometimes they never come back. The gardening gods take it as a sacrifice. Whoever buys this house after me is sitting on a metric buttload cash dollar wise and Hori knife. Let's just say that. Tool number 2, your hand. I wish I was joking, but I'm not. Your hands without gloves. So gloves are valuable, obviously. Every year I tell myself I'm going to wear gloves so I don't end up with like super painful, like my nails separating from my skin or like these really painful cracks and like dried out and gross looking. I always say I'm going to wear gloves. I never wear gloves. So I've just given up on that New Year's resolution. It's out the window at this point. But gloves, your hands, your bare hands are majorly important for using as a diagnostic tool. You can use your hands for work. This is not an exhaustive list. You can use your fingers to determine soil moisture. Is it bone dry? Is it soaking wet? You can use it to determine root rot. If you got a container and you stick your finger in and you feel a bunch of mushy roots, you've got root rot. Congratulations. You can use it to physically feel what the soil texture is. Soil scientists don't use fancy tools to determine a soil texture. They use a soil textural triangle and their hands. I wish I was joking, but I'm not. And we use our bare hands because that's one of the only ways to be able to truly feel what's inside of your soil. It allows us to break up and feel the true texture of our potting soils and our compost, making sure that they're properly kind of distributed and broken up. It allows us to feel the leaves. Are they particularly soft and floppy? Are they more rigid? Are they bumpy? Are they solid bumps or are they pitted? All of these things, your fingers, use your fingers and learn what soil should feel like, what compost should feel like, what plants should feel like, and then utilize that to be able to sense what's going on. These work better than any AI app, than any course or class you could do online. If you can master your touch of your hands, it is a game changer for pests and soil chemistry and soil physics, you name it. Hands. Okay, next up is pruners. Now, here's the thing. If you're going to do pruners, I would actually encourage you to spend a little bit of extra money. So I personally like the Felco pruners solely because they're a little bit more upfront. But as someone who doesn't have huge hands and I'm left-handed, Felco is like a must-have because Felco has left and right hand and they have small, medium, large, and extra large handle sizes. And then the blades themselves are completely replaceable. So you can actually get new blades for your Felcos. And so you will have, again, this tool forever. It's like a Hori knife. It never expires, if you will. So pruners are important. This is something that I need to seriously take more time to do or utilize. Because if you're propagating, if you're trimming, trees, tomatoes, you're pinching off runners, anything like that, a clean cut is really key for reducing pests and disease pressures. I think is important because quite often what I'll do is like if it's a woodier plant, for example, I'll like rip it and I'll rip half the bark with it. That's not helpful. That's the opposite of helpful. So yeah, pruners, I think in my mind, definitely one that I don't utilize, but should utilize much, much more frequently. Basic watering tool. Yes. Okay. So there's a lot of watering tools out there. There's timers, there's drippers, there's soakers, there's OLAs, there's moisture detecting probe thingies. There's a lot. There's a lot of watering devices out there. Here's the thing. You need 2, usually only 1. 2 being a watering can, number 1 being a watering can. Specifically, go for a rainfall watering can. I like the Hans ones. You can get like a cheaper plastic one, which is the one I have, or you can get the really expensive metal ones, which is like a dream gift. I wish I could convince someone to buy me that one. But it's a very gentle watering. The spout actually is facing upwards. So it kind of comes out it's very gentle rainwater. That's important for seedlings and that sort of thing. You could also go with a mist or like a liberal spray bottle when it comes to seedlings. That's also a great choice. When it comes to outdoors, I think I showed that this summer. I found one on Amazon that I fell in love with. It's incredibly inexpensive. And I used it in the backyard and then I bought one for the front yard. It is telescopic, so it can go from this big to this big. And it also has a head that moves completely straight up in the air, all the way down, you name it. It has a dial that allows me super light flow to really high pressure flow. And then it also has the end where you can change the spray pattern, if you will. It's like a no-name something, or this like not. Remind me to link it down below, but that one has to be hands down my favorite. And that's all you need for watering outdoors. A bucket. Yeah, revolutionary, I know. A bucket. You just need a bucket. The bucket will allow you to add water and fertilizer and then to water accordingly. It will allow you to transport compost to help with top dressing. It will allow you to harvest and bring said plants indoors. It will allow you to transport plants outdoors to be transplanted outside. It can carry your weeds to your compost. It can help you collect slugs, snails, and beetles and put them inside and they don't escape. It can allow you to move soil. It's a bucket. I don't know what else to tell you. It does bucket stuff. So very, very irreplaceable tool. 5-gallon pail bucket is my weapon of choice, if you will. But it could be anything. It could be a little bucket if you wanted it to be preferably food safe. That's always a good choice when we're talking about plant stuff. But yeah, buckets. And there you have it, folks. Your 5 essential tools, none of which I have affiliate links for. I think I could probably get affiliate links for 3 of them. But the most uninfluential influencer video on what to buy you've probably ever seen. Horrible businesswoman, what can I say? Anyways, if you want to know the tools that are just dumb, this video right here, don't waste your money on any of that. And then this is actually what Google says you should watch because Google's watching you. I will talk to you guys next time.